And I am live. All right. Good night again. This is Military Guna. As you can see from the thumbnail, you know exactly what is happening. Before I go any further, please like, share, and subscribe. And I say again, if you're here, it means that you like the content to some extent. So tune in. I got some information for you. I want to pass on something to you. Now, Mikel Arteta versus Lacazette. This is a sticky one, I would definitely say, because Mikel Arteta, at this moment, we strongly believe that Mikel Arteta is so bound or so obligated to play Lacazette, and we strongly believe that this obligation seems like I would say, is blinded him in some manner, because we know that Lacazette at this moment is not playing his best football. He's not doing it too well at this moment. So it is surprising to all of us that Mikel Arteta still persists with Lacazette. Now, what we should know is that Arsenal has a policy that states whenever a player goes into his final 2 years of his contract, we would definitely see either some negotiation, or we would possibly put him up for sale. So I would definitely love to know what is the situation that is causing Lacazette to performing like that, because we know that he's a quality player, and at this moment we're not seeing the best of him. Since the end of last year, I would say, last season, going down to after the restart, the football restart, we would see where his performance level had dropped massively. But we know that this player has lots of talent, but we still haven't seen it so far. Now, one of the key things that I would realize is that there was no contract negotiation taking place with him. There were also no idea that they would renegotiate a contract for him, and it just went slightly under the carpet. Now, that says a lot. Mr. Humes, how are you? It's been a while. Play some ball tomorrow evening. I have a few goals to throw to kick away, so you know I have to dash away a few goals, so that is a must. But I'll be playing some ball tomorrow evening for sure. But at this moment, I would definitely say Lacazette is not performing, and there's no reason for Mikel Arteta to be persistent or to continue with him, playing him into the ground, because we know that Lacazette at this moment is not performing, and when someone is not performing based off Mikel Arteta's I would say his motto that says whenever a player is playing well, he will be rewarded, and if the player is playing bad, he will be benched. And so far, we have two players that have been three players that have been consistently bad. Those are Alexander Lacazette, William, and Hector Bellerin. These three players have been playing so bad, so consistently bad, that I'm surprised Mikel Arteta hasn't dropped any one of them so far. And it's a shame. And I do believe that it is definitely a shame, because we know that if a player is not playing well, he has to see the bench. No doubt about it that he has to see the bench. It is a must. As I said, prior to, he did not get any contract negotiation, or they didn't renegotiate any contract with him. So that is where you can understand that they are not seeing themselves moving forward with Lacazette at this moment. Also, links with the Celtic forward Edouard would prove that something is not going right, and they are seeking other measures to get this deal out of the way. But at this moment, we all know that Lacazette is an issue at Arsenal Football Club. We have never seen a player play so bad, so consistently before. No, we have seen it before, but this is utterly embarrassing from Lacazette. Now, we know that he had some family issues last season, and I'm not sure if that he carry on into this season, because at this moment it is not looking well, and something must be done about it. And I think Mikel Arteta has to man up. And if, as an Arsenal fan, I'll be so disappointed. If coming next week, Sunday, and I see the starting lineup, and Alexander Lacazette is inside the starting lineup. I'll be so upset to see Lacazette and Willian on that starting lineup, because Mikel Arteta already said it, that he will reward players that are playing good, and he also will reward players that are playing bad in their rightful respect. So if you're playing bad, you will be dropped from the team. Players such as Joe Willock have been playing immaculately in the Europa League and also fighting hard to make the first team, and they haven't been rewarded with just dues so far. And that in itself is quite embarrassing. And we know that there's a space in the team for Joe Willock. Now, moving on to our next point, Arsenal and the Europa League. I do believe that Arsenal stand a strong chance of winning this Europa League title. I know that some big guns will be coming down in this Europa League at this point in time. But what I do know is that Mikel Arteta has a knack for cup competitions. And I think that his style of play is quite suited for cup competitions. And that's a factor that's something that we have to look into. We have to look into that, because it is quite intriguing to us, because we're not getting the best from our team in the league, but we know for a fact that in the cup competitions we are looking better, we are performing better, and that is something that we should look at. So that is one of the reasons I do believe that the cup competitions, I would say, can go in favor in regards to Arsenal. And we have seen before where Arsenal played quite a few strong teams in cup competitions, such as Manchester City, Liverpool, also Chelsea. And we have dominated these finals, and we have won 2 trophies so far. And that is a key factor that we have to look into. And I think that it is something that we believe in. Now, the next topic is that Gunnersaurus. And we saw where the media blew something out of proportion for our, I would say, at Arsenal Football Club, where we saw Gunnersaurus being made redundant. And due to that, it has rained a massive amount of fire and brimstone at Arsenal Football Club, where they had to answer many questions about the laying off of Gunnersaurus. And what did that do? I'll go into some perspective in regards to what did that do. We saw where Ozil took the initiative, and I strongly believe that it was a PR thing. Ozil took the initiative, and he went out and claimed that he would definitely pay Gunnersaurus wage. And I strongly believe that that is something that Arsenal Football Club definitely, and I mean definitely, was against. Now, what we see happen is that Ozil used this opportunity as a PR stunt to get himself better, to get himself a bit on the fan side, or to get himself in line with the fans, and use this opportunity to strike at the club by offering to pay Gunnersaurus his wage. Now, what this had done is that it made the club look bad, made management look bad, and also be the fact that he was freezed out by Mikel Arteta and the club made also Mikel Arteta look bad. Now, I'm not sure if there's any coming back for Ozil, but what I do know is that it will be very hard for him to come back after this. What I do believe is that in a situation like this, Mr. Ozil used the opportunity at his advantage, and it definitely paid off in his fact. Now, what we see happening right now is that Gunnersaurus' son, and Gunnersaurus is the image of the dinosaur. That is the image. Now, the person inside the suit was who was actually laid off. The entire media let it allow it to seem as if that Arsenal had laid off Gunnersaurus themselves, but that wasn't the factor. What really happened was that the person inside the suit, because Gunnersaurus is an image at Arsenal Football Club that will never go away, but Gunnersaurus, the person inside the suit, was indefinitely the one who was laid off. Now, based off that fact, you realize that people will say, why is it that Arsenal would lay off Gunnersaurus, or the person inside the suit, and his wages were minuscule in accordance to some. But there's also other people whose wages were minuscule as well, like some of the scouts that were in Europe or in the South America and those places. Their wages were minuscule and they were still laid off. Now, the image Gunnersaurus will always be at the club. But what Ozil did was to emulate a character, or forfeited it to let it seem as if that it was the entire Gunnersaurus aspect that was being dismissed from the club. And in fact, that wasn't the way it was. So it was a smart move from him, and it made it look bad for the club, and definitely it did look bad, and there was lots of questions being thrown out. But at this moment, his son had hit back at the club, making some strong, and I mean very, very strong remarks. And I'm going to go in some details about it. Let me read exactly what was said. This is what happened. This is what was said by Gunnersaurus' son. My dad loyally served Arsenal in much loved role of Gunnersaurus. His alter ego for 27 years, as in voluntary for the first 14, then he was paid continually after that, helping to create a character mascot that is hugely recognized across the world of football and beyond. In response to the pandemic, Arsenal Football Club decided that they would include the role of Gunnersaurus as a part of their cost-cutting redundancy exercise, owing to the lack of match days and community opportunities. Understandable so, as it wasn't a full-time role anymore. But Gunner wasn't about to become extinct, just simply lose his familiar heart and soul, which was his ability to be a part of the club. Unfortunately, Arsenal were unable to find a suitable way to include my dad in their new norm, which is everything's been restructured at this moment, and you know that the redundancy, all these things were affected by COVID, but there's a new structure put in place for or by Arsenal Football Club at this moment. So that is what he meant by the new norm. Part-time plans, or even offer him the chance to hand over his legacy. So he's basically saying that why didn't Arsenal allow him to hand over his legacy in his own will to someone he chose or someone he believes deserves it. So perhaps they see him as an extinct dinosaur after all. So basically, just as what the media has brought out that Gunnersaurus has been made extinct, he's using that metaphor as a reference to his character or what he's trying to say. So continue. Unfortunately, okay, I'm sorry about it. To act with class is an Arsenal value that I remember well from my time working at the club. And my dad certainly honored that. However, I don't feel this was reciprocated in his new journey has ended. Now, he's saying that the action of being honorable was not reflected in how they handle the contract. And we know Arsenal is a club of standard and legacy on being honorable. So all this to say, this unique and privileged job has given the family and fans alike many great memories. And all good things do eventually come to an end. I'd like to thank George Allen for setting up the GoFundMe page and Ozil and hundreds of Arsenal fans who sent thoughtful messages and donations. I know this support means so much to my dad, but it was never about the money. It was about my dad's loyalty and memories of 27 fun years of Gunnersaurus. All funds received will be donated to charities close to my dad's heart. And we know all what that means. Now, if we look at it in some aspect, we'd realize that Gunnersaurus is now not a member of the Arsenal Football Club, and not the image Gunnersaurus, but in reference the character or the person inside the suit Gunnersaurus. This is a massive factor, and this is something that will take a toll, or I would believe that will be an impact the club in some manner. This letter that was written by his son will impact the club. But however, I strongly believe that Arsenal will reply to this and address the matter. Now, these are some of the things that we know for a fact that they haven't done much so far to help themselves. That is Arsenal Football Club. But what I do believe is that they will address these type of matters as soon as possible to shed some light on what the situation is. Because I do believe that this is now being blown out of proportion further than what it should have been. Now, that's it for Gunnersaurus and his son and his bold claim and statement that was written in the paper. Now, back to Arsenal and Europa League. Now, why I do believe that Arsenal may win the Europa League is that we have seen so far that Mikel Arteta has a knack for cup competition, and so far he has done well. And I do believe this is also a competition that Mikel Arteta can stand still and prove himself in as well. We know last season it didn't went well when we faced Olympiacos and it went to extra time and they kicked us out in extra time. But we know for a fact that now our team is much, much stronger and more harder, and I would say is stronger and harder to beat. And that was all due to Mikel Arteta. We have our flaws. We do have our flaws, but we now know what our flaws is and how we can address it. That is the good thing. And the good thing also is that we're not leaking around the back or the defense line like the norm. And that, as I said, is a good thing. Now, the trouble in that is many Arsenal fans will only reflect on what happened at Aston Villa. But I do believe that that scene was a one-time scene, and I don't think that it will replicate again. Just the same as how Liverpool lost 7-2 to Aston Villa, and I don't think that will ever happen again. And I can tell you, if Liverpool to face Aston Villa tomorrow or tonight, it would be a different cause and a different scenario. Liverpool will definitely slap them about. But these, based off how the season is going so far, these are results that we all as fans should expect. Not just Arsenal, but Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Leicester City, Tottenham Spurs, and Everton. These are results that will definitely affect us. And I think that we, as Arsenal fans, know for a fact that it came at the right time, at a particular time where Mikel Arteta can sit back, look in his books, and appreciate what went wrong, and do his best to sort out all these issues that we're facing. One of the major issues that we're facing right now is the creative aspect. Not only creative aspect, but our leading goal scorers, our front men, we're not getting the best of them. And whenever you see three of our best attacking players, all on poor form, it definitely means that something is wrong. And what is wrong, it's not necessarily has to do with the players themselves, but in fact the system. And I do believe that it is something that Mikel Arteta will review and see throughout this 2 weeks break. And I do believe, and I strongly believe, that this international break was something that the club, or Mikel Arteta himself, had needed to get back himself on the right foot. Now, this is the perfect opportunity for Arsenal Football Club and Mikel Arteta to move into the 4-2-3-1 formation. I see many Arsenal fans crying out for 4-3-3, but I myself really go against using the 4-3-3 formation. This is why. Listen to me keenly. When you play 4-3-3, it depends on how you deploy the 4-3-3. You can deploy the 4-3-3 where you have two at the base, one central attacking midfielder. That's one person at the camp. Now, playing that, I'm okay with that. If Mikel Arteta deploy a 4-3-3 where he has one person at the base and two number 8s, I'm worried about that. Because playing one person at the base, it is so easy to left that area vacant and leaving the defense exposed, and that in itself may cause bigger problems than we really would want. And I think it is something that we as Arsenal fans should look into. But we all are calling out for things that we all believe from our own perspective that it is the right thing. But is it really the right thing? Is it really the right thing? We're just assuming that it's the right thing. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. This is a short one. Just something for me to reflect on Mikel Arteta, Alexander Lacazette, and Gunnersaurus' son, how he addresses the issue in regards to his father being laid out. So if you're new here, please subscribe. Do not leave without subscribing. Like the comment, like whatever you think, and drop a comment and tell me if you believe that how Arsenal dealt with the Gunnersaurus situation was okay. Also comment and tell me what you think Mikel Arteta should do about Alexander Lacazette, because he has now become a massive problem to the team in itself and the whole. So please drop a like, subscribe, and tell me what you think about Arsenal. So for now, this is Military Gunner. I am out.